questions? Does anybody have any questions or relationship advice questions? Yes, in the back. Yes. My parents' reaction to, they were very supportive. I don't think they ever thought that I would do it for real. But once I started my track, like I was talking about, like the things I chose to do, once I started putting myself out there and having success, I think they were really excited about that. They were supportive. I have kind of hands-off parents, so I can't speak to having parents who would pressure me into something else, but they were supportive, yeah. They had to get used to me writing about our family and all of our baggage, but they dealt with it. How do I deal with writer's block? Great question. I think that the number one thing I can do to combat writer's block is to recognize that I need to allow myself to write bad poems. Like, I think we put so much pressure on ourselves, and this goes for songwriting or any sort of creative thing. We know who our idols are, we know what our favorite poems are, our favorite songs are, and we hold ourselves to that standard, and that's just impossible. So I give myself permission to write a shitty poem, essentially. I give myself permission to write a bad poem, and then after I write 10 bad lines, a good line will come. Does that make sense? So showing up and writing something crappy and then throw it away or burn it safely. That's the way I combat it. Or read other people's work. That always stimulates something. Anybody else? Yes, sir. What does spoken word mean? So all the different types of poetry I do can fall under different umbrellas. Big umbrella, poetry. Other umbrella, people say spoken word if they need people who perform anything written in a theatrical way. A monologue can kind of be spoken word. It's just a categorization. I say spoken word because I don't like when people say slam poetry, because to me slam is a competition, and I wasn't competing, except for maybe for your attention. So spoken word to me is just a different way to say slam poetry. It's also just a way to dictate that I believe that a lot of poems are meant to be read out loud or to be shared in some sort of way. Yeah. Any other questions? Help me, point to me again. Yes.
Can you tell us anything about your novel?
Oh, great question. So little, actually. The first thing I can tell you is it's freaking terrifying to write a novel. It's scary, and it's scary to do something outside of my comfort zone. I have 4 books of poetry published. I know I could publish another book of poetry in my sleep. It's just intimidating to step outside of the comfort zone. But I will tell you that it's about 2 high school students, actually, in upstate New York, around when 9/11 happened, because I lived in New York when that happened. Okay, yes, somewhere over here. I can't see who. Yes, sorry. I do my podcast with my best friend, yes. Oh, no, different best friend. Ex-best friend. That's an ex-best friend. Yeah. And everybody always asks, and yes, that guy heard the poem, and he was fine with it. You just talk about your feelings when you get older. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, in the back. Say it one more time. Is it hard to be vulnerable? What do you guys think? Yes. It is 100. We live in a culture that 100% does not want us to be vulnerable ever. Especially, and dudes, guys, I'm not even trying to call you out on this, but in the era of feminism, to me right now, it's almost harder to be a guy. Obviously, women have been oppressed for eons, and we can unpack that up later. But women, at least, we're expanding the idea of what a woman can be, and men, it's staying very rigid. Men cannot be anything but the idea of masculinity. And so that's just all to say, vulnerability is really hard. It's really hard to talk about your feelings. It's really hard to mess up. It's really hard to be honest. Hey, y'all. And it's really hard to put yourself out there. But it is a practice that you have to show up to every day, and if you do it, I promise your life is going to be better. That's why I really love the work that I do in the podcast, too, because it's about vulnerability. One more, yes?
I love your outfit.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Oh, hey, really quickly, I have posters for sale, $10 or 2 for $10, and I also have free things that say just break up on them if you want to slip them to your friends who need to get out of their relationships. Thank you.